welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a super quick and easy tutorial on how to make an acrylic blank keychain using the acrylic blank circle from 651 vinyl, as well as the Starcraft HD vinyl, which was all in the 651 mystery box that was released in April of 2020 during the COVID-19 shutdown, something none of us will forget. So what I'm going to be using is the circle blank. This is the 2.5-inch circle blank that's going to come in your mystery box, as well as the Starcraft HD and the blue grid transfer tape. Now for the HD, what you're getting is you're getting 3 colors: red, Tiffany blue, and coral, and you're getting all 3 of those colors in glossy and matte. So you're getting 6 sheets total, 3 of each. So you're getting 3 glossy in those 3 colors and 3 matte in those 3 colors. And then you're getting a 12 by 12 sheet of the blue grid transfer tape. So the blue grid transfer tape is a medium tack transfer tape. It works for pretty much everything, and it's kind of great for almost any project you're doing. The grid lines make it easy to line anything up. If you're lining up words or images or anything like that, the grid is very, very helpful. So if you like a medium tack transfer tape, but you really need help with lining it up, the blue grid transfer tape is the way to go. And if you didn't purchase the mystery box, all of these items are on the 651 website to purchase, and I will put links to those in the description. So with that, the Starcraft HD is permanent vinyl, both glossy and matte is all permanent. They have great colors outside of these 3, and it's super easy to weed. It's super easy to work with. It cuts pretty much like butter. It cuts great. I love working with it. It is permanent. It has a 5 to 6 year permanent rating. It is very comparable to others. However, what I've noticed is I like cutting this better than other brands. So with that, I am going to pull you over into Design Space and show you how to get the blanks design files. So each acrylic blank that 651 sells comes with a matching design file. This one's just a circle, but it's going to make it easy for you to line up different images. And then I'll show you where to get this super cute daisy image from their website and get it into Design Space and make everything line up. So I'm going to flip you over to my computer screen and we will get started. So the first thing we're going to do when you get your blank and you have your vinyl ready to go, you're going to come here to the 651 website. And the great thing about all of these acrylic blanks is each one of them has its own file that matches. So here under the blanks tab, we are going to go to acrylics, and we're just going to click that. And we are just going to click on keychains here. And you'll see that right here, the very first option is to download the SVG file for the blanks, and you can see all of the different blanks that 651 has to offer. I mentioned before that we are going to be using the 2.5-inch circle, which is this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and search through the acrylic blank SVG files. And I'm going to go here. You can see there's 2 size options, so I want to click on the 2.5-inch circle. And now with my Mac, when I click it, I've already allowed downloads from here, so my download is going to come right here automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off onto my desktop. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to come to the tab that says More, and I'm going to select the SVG design files. So the one that I chose for this is under the free SVG downloads. I chose a simple daisy because it went well with the circle. So you're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on see details of this file. You're going to click on free download, and just like before, that's going to come right up here to my downloads option. It is a little different if you're using a Windows computer. So like I said, this is on my Mac. So if you have Windows, it might look a little different. It will show up in a different place when you download it, but it's all essentially the same thing. As long as you know where your downloads go, you'll be able to upload it to Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, and I'm going to open Design Space. Now you can only upload one SVG file at once. So come here to upload. You're going to see that I've already uploaded these once. So I'm going to upload my image, and I'm just going to drag and drop. So here is my 2.5 inch circle blank. I'm going to save that as is. I'm going to click upload again. I'm going to pull my flower in. I'm going to save that as is. And I'm going to click both of these, and I'm going to put both of them on my canvas. Now, the reason is this circle, you're going to see is 2.475, so it's just under that 2.5 inch mark, and that is because you don't want it to go all the way to the edge, especially if you are sealing it with epoxy resin or UV resin or anything like that, because you want to give that resin a spot on the blank to grab onto outside of where the vinyl is. So this flower decided to go rogue and upload in the 900 region of my grid, so we're going to move this back slowly but surely. So I'm going to pull this over here. Now I'm just going to bring this to the middle and zoom it in for you so you can see what's going on. So you can see that the circle already has a hole here cut out for the keychain part if you're making it a keychain. So what you're going to want to do is pull your image over and you're going to size it out. So now remember, this circle here is just under the actual size of the blank. So when I use this, I can pull this all the way out to the edge of this circle for the sizing, because that will put it just at the edge of the blank and in the perfect spot. Now, something that you might have noticed is this petal at the top covered that hole for my keychain hardware. So what I'm going to do is I am going to ungroup my flower, ungroup, and I'm going to move this centerpiece away. The reason for that is now I can select both of these two layers at once. So I have my circle blank and I have my flower petals, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the bottom right and I'm going to click slice. Now what that did is that just put that hole right back in my keychain where I needed it to be. And since I don't need these parts because I'm not putting a background, I can just now click those and delete them and pull my flower center back to the middle to see what it will look like. It shows up in the back now, so I'm going to go to the top, hit arrange, send to front, and we are back where we need to be so you can see what it's going to look like. I don't usually change the color of my product or my image to match the color vinyl I'm cutting, but in this instance I will. And since I'm using the Starcraft HD, which came in the mystery box, and you get red, Tiffany blue, and coral, I'm going to use the Tiffany blue and coral for my flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my center. I'm going to get something close to a Tiffany blue. Won't be exact, but it'll be close. Change that. Well, that's way off. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to select my flower petals and I'm going to change those to a coral color like this. So now you can kind of see what your flower is going to look like with those two colors together. And that's all you have to do to make a file match your blank and line up right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and send this through my machine to cut. When I do this, I cut the Starcraft HD vinyl on the vinyl setting. However, I select more pressure just to give it a little extra depth when it cuts to ensure that all of my pieces are going to pick up and they're not going to get stuck anywhere. So I will go ahead and send that through my machine, and then I'll switch you down to my desktop so you can see me apply the Starcraft HD to the acrylic blank with the blue grid transfer tape that is also in the mystery box. So now that I have my two color layers cut, I'm going to go ahead and weed this out. So I have my petals, my center of my flower, my blank, and my transfer tape. And you will see that I am using the pin pen tool from 651 vinyl. It is the greatest weeding tool ever. There's a little pin on the bottom that you can see there, and it makes weeding everything super easy. So you're just gonna go in on the side like that, kind of pick it up, and you're gonna pull away your vinyl. So when you do this, you'll want to pull away carefully. Don't pull it up this way. You can see this, don't pull it up. You'll want to pull it away, kind of like you're rolling it away. That way you're not gonna pull off your design if something gets snagged, and it'll all stay intact. So then I have this little spot here, which is for the keychain hole. So now I'm gonna move that over, and you'll notice that this acrylic blank is white, but it's really not. It's definitely clear, but there is a protective film on each side of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna peel that off of one side, and that's the side that we're gonna put our decal on, and I'm not gonna peel it off the back side until I'm all done. That way it stays protected. It's not getting scratched on my desk or anything, or smudged or anything like that, because I'm a boy mom, everything's messy here. So I use my pin pen, and I just kind of grab that protective film just enough that you can pull it back without scratching that acrylic. So you'll see that it's still gonna look white here, but that's because there's another side of the protective film. So we have that off. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the blue grid transfer tape. Now what's nice about this is because it has the grid lines, it's really easy to line things up. So with this, and there isn't a ton of lining up that I'll need to do, but this will help keep everything centered and keep everything exactly where you want it, especially if you're working with words. If you're working with words and vinyl, most of the time when I do it, something faces sideways. I don't know if I turn my head weird, but something is always facing sideways. It's always crooked somehow, but that's just a fatal flaw of my own. So the grid transfer tape will make it very easy for you to keep everything in line, because any printed fonts, not something that's script and bubbly, a printed font is gonna stay straight. So this will really help you to make everything stay lined up. So I can see here that this flower is only gonna need 3 of these grid squares. So that's all I'm gonna cut off of here so we can save it and get the most use out of it. So I'm going to just cut along this line. Turn it and cut along this line. Just like that. Set that to the side. So this is cut. It's going to fit right over our flower. And you'll notice that it looks blue here, but it is clear. It's just the backing that's blue. And then you have the grid. So I'm just gonna kind of peel this back, and you'll be able to see that the transfer tape itself is clear, just with a blue backing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this off, and I'm going to apply the transfer tape to my petals first. Now the best way to do it is to hold your transfer tape in a U shape like this, and start in the middle and stick it down from the middle out. So you want to do one side first the best that you can. This is going to really help prevent any air bubbles that you'll get in the vinyl. So you'll see I'm going to kind of smooth that side down, and I am going to use one of my scraper tools, also from 651. This is the squeegee tool that they sell. It is for burnishing on your transfer tape to your vinyl decal, and then burnishing your decal onto whatever it is you're putting it on. However, it totally has more uses than that, because these pieces here I like to use to hold my tumblers or a cup or anything that might roll when you're putting vinyl on it. I just set my squeegee down here and set it right there in that little channel, and it holds it for me. So that is a great probably not so secret use for the squeegee tool, but multi-use options are always the greatest thing ever. So I'm going to peel this back. You'll see that it is now sticky here. It's off the backing. It's on here. So what you're going to want to do is with this, you're going to want to line it up. So to move it a little closer to me, I can see where that hole is. So that hole is right there. And when you apply your vinyl, you're going to do the same thing like when you applied your transfer tape. You're going to roll it kind of like this in a U shape and apply it that way. That way you can prevent as many air bubbles as possible. So I'm just going to stick this down, kind of move this side in, put that side down, and now I'm going to roll this side down as well. I'm going to use my squeegee, stick it down there. And now you can see that these petals go just to the edge of this blank, which is perfect because there's still a little bit of space around the petals and around the blank. So even if you don't cover this, which I'm not going to, I'm not going to coat this in UV resin or epoxy resin. I'm going to leave it as is because this is permanent vinyl, so I don't have to worry about that. This way, it's not going to get snagged on anything in your bag or your purse or anything in your car or anything like that because there's a little bit of space between it. So now that I have this, you're going to want to make sure you've burnished it on very well so it doesn't want to lift when you pull off your transfer tape. And then all you're going to do is you're going to roll this back. Now, when I say roll, I just peel this corner piece here like this and I roll it back. You don't want to pull it back at an angle. You don't want to pull it like at a 90-degree angle like that because you do risk then your vinyl lifting, which will help cause a ton of bubbles, which you don't want. You want your vinyl nice and smooth. So we're just going to pull it back and we're going to roll it off just like this. And it will leave your vinyl down on the blank. So see that technique, and that vinyl is bubble free, which is what you're always looking for. So now I'm going to use that same piece of transfer tape. I am a transfer tape reuser. I use it as many times as I can before it loses its stickiness. So I am going to burnish that little center down just like that so it sticks to the transfer tape. And this one I'm just going to kind of eyeball this one because it's just going right there in the center of this flower. I am going to eyeball that in the middle. Do the same thing, create somewhat of a U shape with my transfer tape. Since that's a small piece, it's not too big of a deal. I'm going to burnish that on. Just like that, roll it back again. Stick my transfer tape there for the time being. And just like that, your flower has become a flower. So now, if you're going to use this as a keychain, you can add your keychain hardware, which you can purchase from 651. So I have some keychain hardware here, just like that. And then one of the larger jump rings. Attach the chain to the blank, looks like that. So that little jump ring and the keychain hardware. There's tons of keychain hardware in the world. I typically tend to order mine from 651 when I order my blanks. That way I have them together. So I have two different pairs of pliers here. This is kind of more narrow. This is a little wider. These you can find in your jewelry section of your craft store or on Amazon. I think I've had these forever, but they work pretty well. Another handy tool that 651 has is the ring tool, and what this is for is to open your jump rings. I'm not going to need to use that here because my jump ring's pretty open, but for sake of showing you, what you're going to do is you would grab your jump ring with your pliers, find which spot on the ring tool it fits through, and you're just going to bend it open just like that. So the tool is going to hold it while you bend it the opposite way, and that'll widen your opening there with your jump ring. So before you do that, you're going to want to take the other backing piece off. So I'm just going to pull that off real quick. Just like that. And I'm going to grab that jump ring. Put it through, and then I just kind of grab that chain from the keychain, put it on there, grab my other pair of pliers, put them together. And this is where this wider set comes in handy, because I just kind of crimp it back together like this. I line it up, make sure it's touching so it's not going to come out of that hole there, and you're done. So really simple but effective and super cute keychain. Lots of different options for blanks, but this is the one that you will get in your mystery box from 651 Vinyl, along with the Coral and Tiffany Blue Starcraft HD vinyl. So I'm going to leave this keychain like this. You can coat your keychains with epoxy resin or UV resin or a few different things, and I will link my video to my acrylic keychain blank with UV resin, so you can go check that out if you want to add that additional shine and additional protection to your keychain. But thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos and tutorials, and I will see you next time.